And welcome back, everyone, to the sixth episode of the Sports Coverage Podcast. My name is Andrew, and I'm alongside my co host, as always, Vince. So, Vince, we are post NFL Week 1. We are approaching NBA, we are approaching NHL, and we are towards the end of the MLB season with postseason coming up. So, we're going to have a lot to talk about in the next couple of weeks. But first, we're going to talk about NFL Week 1 and our reactions to NFL Week 1. So something big that we've talked about in the last couple episodes are the rookies. So Vince has compiled a list of 4 rookies that he think performed to the best of their abilities the past week, and those are Anthony Richardson, Bijan Robinson, Zay Flowers, and Brian Branch. So Vince, what's your perspective on these guys?
Yeah, I think these four guys played the best they could possibly play. And we see what Anthony Richardson has done without Jonathan Taylor playing for the Colts right now. He did a great job week 1 against the Jags, arguably a great team and possibly could win their division. So a great
Mm-hmm.
play by the Colts. Obviously, they didn't win, but Anthony Richardson did step up, and
Yep.
he's obviously one of the best rookies coming out of this class. And second, I have Bijan Robinson. He had a hell of a performance. There was this one play that I don't know how to say it in perspectives, but I don't know. He just
Just
like
go check it
juked
out.
this
Just
one
go
guy.
check it
Listen,
out.
just go check it out. I mean, it was towards the second half. It was just an insane
Yeah.
play, and I think he's on the rise. He's a great player, great running back, and we definitely got to watch out for him. And then
And
save
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited for the Falcons there. I didn't want them to be last, like um
in our
in
division
our picks
standings.
in our division standings and our picks from earlier in the month. But Bijan
Yeah,
Robinson has already shown some promise for the Atlanta Falcons, and I hope that they can keep improving as the season goes on. So next you're
yeah,
talking about Zay Flowers.
yeah. Zay Flowers obviously going to be one of the best receiving targets for this Ravens team. They've dealt with huge depth. They've dealt with a lot of stuff on the receiver side of the ball, and over the last couple of years, and Lamar Jackson has it's kind of hurt him a lot. That's also, I'm not gonna say he's a running back, but that's why he runs a lot. I'm guessing because he doesn't
Yeah.
have the right system to throw the ball. But now getting Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham Jr., and all these huge like Rashad Bateman, and all these huge guys, I think it helps them a lot. Zay
And
Flowers,
yeah.
huge pickup. I love it.
And Zay Flowers was obviously highly ranked in the NFL draft. We
I mean,
saw a lot of his yeah,
he came out of Boston College though, which
exactly.
is
And
something you're not really gonna see out of a
uh,
prospect coming to the NFL. Coming out of Boston College,
especially in the
getting
first
drafted in the
round.
first round,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's what I love about Zay Flowers, and that's why I think he had obviously not just because of coming out of Boston College, but I think he had a great play week 1. I think
Yeah.
we're gonna see a lot of him in the future.
And the other thing, like Bijan Robinson, you just got to check out his highlights from
Yeah, man.
week
I mean,
one.
he's played
But
an
he had
amazing
a
ball.
couple. He had this one play where he like toe tapped down the sideline while juking out
It's
3 guys,
huge.
and it was
Yeah,
like Zay Flowers. Listen, I won the Giants to get him, but he just got picked a little too early. So
yeah.
and
And
we'll see how he does. But Brian Branch is your last guy on this list.
yeah, so Brian Branch obviously had a pick in last week's games. Not only was it a pick, it was a pick six, and on arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now, Patrick Mahomes. Listen, now week 1, as we said last episode, we talked about the Chiefs Lions game, and we kind of talked about how Patrick Mahomes didn't really have the right targets in week 1, obviously with Travis Kelce out, and the team wasn't really they weren't focused as they should have been. See, now Brian Branch came into this game as a rookie, as he's fresh off. He's fresh. He needs, he wants the fire. He needs the fire. And so, just looking at how he played, after this pick off of one of the best quarterbacks in the game right now, it's just huge. And this is what I love about him. And I think we can see a lot of him on the defensive side of the ball going forward.
Yeah, I definitely agree with all of that, and it's huge for a defensive player to be that good in his
I mean,
first week.
definitely, we can see
Defense
some.
defense is, I think,
It's a,
harder to adapt to than
yeah,
offense in
exactly. And
the
that
NFL.
and not
And
only
it's
getting your
huge, yeah.
first, yeah, and not only was it his first game, he got a pick six in his first game. On Patrick Mahomes, which is not, you don't see Patrick Mahomes throwing picks left and right. We see Josh Allen do it. We see Lamar Jackson do it. We see Tua Tagovailoa do it. We don't see Patrick Mahomes do that often. And so with Brian Branch getting this done, it's huge for this defense
Right,
and
right.
for him himself. Like it builds up like a sense of now I'm locked in. Now I'm ready to go
Right.
off and I'm ready for the NFL. So yeah.
Right. And we'll continue to see how these rookies do next week, as well as top drafted guys that we didn't really include on this list, such as CJ Stroud and Bryce Young, who we will talk more about next week. But in the last episode, we had a big Jets focused discussion about should you jump on the bandwagon and stuff like that. And we'll wait and see for the Bills Jets game, which was last Monday. And as you may now know, Aaron Rodgers has suffered a ruptured Achilles and will most likely miss the remainder of the 2023-2024 season. And this is something fourth snap of his Jets career.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little crazy. And
this is, but it's more upsetting. The Jets, everyone thought had something going here, and I feel bad for Packers fans because now they don't have their round one pick.
I said it episode 5 or episode 4. I said he was not going to live up to the hype, and I guess I was right. You know, obviously he's not playing this season, and obviously I send my prayers and my wishes to him for a grateful comeback. But I knew that this Jets team wasn't going to go far, and I said this since the beginning of the podcast. I said that the Jets weren't going to be a huge team in the playoffs, and I kind of was being a little like loving short towards them and like around episode 3 and around there. But before that, I was like hating on them, and I'm still gonna have that mentality of hating because I don't think this Jets team without Aaron Rodgers can do anything. And I do think like all this hype that's built up was just a waste of time. And I think if Aaron Rodgers wants to make a comeback, he's got to be as soon as possible. But I'd love to say something though, Andrew, before we go on. Aaron did say he might make a comeback on Friday's episode of the Pat McAfee show today. So I think that's pretty huge. He might make a comeback.
He's had some interesting Instagram posts too. So
yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
but risking an injury like this and going out while you're still hurt, that could totally affect the end of his career.
It's not. It hasn't even been a week yet.
It's better to be safe. It's better to be safe than sorry. Just for him in general, for all quarterbacks, for all sports players,
and because of how old he is, and because of how old he is, he kind of needs to. I think he needs to have a more of a relaxing recovery because if he goes out there too soon as an old veteran quarterback, he can definitely re-injure his Achilles.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So, and then on the topic of the Jets, there's been a lot of interesting rumors about the Jets reaching out to some retired quarterbacks or quarterbacks that are out of the league, such as Tom Brady or
Matt Ryan
or Cam Newton. Do you think that that's all?
Yeah, none of that's gonna happen. I'm telling you, Andrew. I mean, as we see this past week one, we saw Matt Ryan in the booth, you know, as a play-by-play commentator this past week. So I don't think he's nowhere.
He's not. Yeah. And Tom Brady isn't going anywhere.
And it's a little crazy that Cam Newton is the most likely to return out of these three because, you know, he's still a great player, but you know, he's kind of fallen off since his play with the Carolina Panthers. So I personally do not think none of this is gonna happen. I think we're just gonna have to see the Zach Wilson show from now on. But we're just gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to wait and see with that. So, as of recording, today is Friday, September 15th, which means last night with Thursday night football, Vikings versus Eagles. And of course, the Eagles won 34-28, but there were some very big performances, breakout games for a few guys, most notably DeAndre Swift, Kirk Cousins, and TJ Hawkinson. So if you have any of those guys on fantasy, you guys are very lucky. But
yeah, I do gotta say something. Like I was looking on Thursdays. I was watching the game on Thursday, and I was like to myself, I'm like, man, I wish I had DeAndre Swift in fantasy. I mean, he had an insane 28 carries for a running back. I don't think we see something that often.
No, and it's interesting with the Eagles being a very passing forward team with Jalen Hurts.
I mean, it's
Devontae Smith. Like all those guys, that's insane that they gave him 28 carries.
Listen, although he had 28 carries, he only ran for 181 yards, which is to me that's a little surprising. If with these amount of carries, it looks like he should have gotten a 500-yard game here, looking like Shedeur Sanders in the NFL. I mean, this is like he should have definitely had more yards. He definitely should have had more
Yeah.
touchdowns. He only had one touchdown. So I definitely think we could see a lot from DeAndre Swift. This is a huge game for him. But I think coming into week 3, I think we should be seeing a great game from him. And I think we should all we should realize that we have to start him in fantasy next week.
Yeah. Same for Kirk Cousins and TJ Hawkinson. Kirk Cousins, I think, is a very underrated quarterback in the league. Listen, he's throwing to a top tight end, top 2 receiver in football right now in Justin Jefferson. Don't count him out. He had 364 yards and 4 passing touchdowns last night against the Eagles. Even though they lost, that is still absolutely insane. And same for TJ Hawkinson, tight end I was talking about, with 66 yards and caught 2 of those 4 passing touchdowns from Kirk Cousins. So that is Thursday Night Football. We're just some things about Justin Jefferson that
Yeah. So, and again, Justin Jefferson with another disappointing game with 0 touchdowns. This is not something we see out of the best receiver in the league. And if he's not gonna be scoring, in this year's NFL, I don't think he should be he shouldn't be known as the best receiver in the league. And I think he's definitely not going to be this season. So if he's going to want to be known as the best receiver, he needs to step up and start scoring because he's just having some slouchy games.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean the rookie, what's his name again? The receiver that the Vikings drafted, he has more touchdowns than Justin Jefferson does on the season. So to me, it's a little crazy. I mean, 0 touchdowns in 2 games for Justin Jefferson is something that's not
Jordan Addison.
Jordan Addison, that's exactly who. Yeah, but it's just really disappointing for Justin Jefferson. We're gonna have to see a huge game out of him next week, and we're hoping for the best for him.
Yeah. So we are gonna move on from Thursday to Sunday. So we just picked out a couple of games for what we think are gonna be the top games this Sunday. First game on the list, Lions versus Seahawks. Lions obviously on the rise from their win against the Super Bowl defending Chiefs last week, and the Seahawks, who had comeback player of the year last year, Geno Smith, as well as stars DK Metcalf, and pretty good team overall. So what do you think about this game?
Yeah, I like this game. I think this is a big matchup. But I'm going to take the Lions after seeing what they did against the Chiefs last week. It's huge. And I think we have to notice the offense here. So, obviously the Seahawks have a great team and they have great coaching staff. But I think the Lions, after beating the Chiefs in Arrowhead, should be the favorite in every game going forward in the season. Yeah. I'm not saying they're going undefeated. I'm just saying they should be notable as the favorite. Right. Now, coming into the season, I would have easily chosen the Seahawks. And it has nothing to do with the Lions and nothing against the Lions, but I think the Seahawks are the better team. But now, seeing what the Lions did in week 1, I'm going to take the Lions in this game.
I agree with you. I don't think the Seahawks are a ridiculously good team if you just look at them.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But the Lions are it's the power of just luck and like beating the Super Bowl defending Chiefs is just absolutely insane. I think the Lions need some more hype surrounding them, so I got the Lions in this game. Next game is Jets versus Cowboys. So the Jets, obviously, we talked about them. They no longer have their big offseason acquisition in Aaron Rodgers, and the Cowboys coming off a quite embarrassing win for my New York Giants, but we're not going to talk about that right now. So, what do you think about this one?
Yeah, obviously we've seen the Jets beat arguably the best team in the AFC East, the Bills. But I'm gonna take my gut and I'm gonna say the Cowboys. It has nothing to do with the Jets, and I love this team a lot. But I just think the Jets don't have the right system, the right team at the moment. After losing their starting quarterback, I think it's going to take some time to get used to it. I think it's going to take a couple weeks. So Zach Wilson's going to have to learn. Obviously, he's been learning the playbook as the preseason goes on, and
he's been learning it. He's been learning it the Aaron Rodgers way.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he's gonna, if he wants to step up, he's gonna have to learn exactly the Aaron Rodgers way and how he plays on his play system. So yeah, I'm taking the Cowboys in this game.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't like making that pick, and probably if Aaron Rodgers is still Jets QB,
I mean, I wouldn't like
I would
taking I
pick the
wouldn't like
Jets.
taking the Jets at all. I mean,
But I gotta go with Cowboys here. Cowboys are gonna be a really good team this season. Their defense and defensive line, especially, is just absolutely insane. But we're gonna move on from the Cowboys because I don't like to talk about them, and we're gonna talk about the Ravens versus the Bengals. The Ravens again made a lot of offseason moves, including getting Zay Flowers in the draft, signing
Odell Beckham
OBJ,
Jr. Yeah.
and re-signing their star quarterback Lamar Jackson. And the Bengals lost last week to the Cleveland Browns with Joe Burrow having an injury and being questionable going into that game. So this may be a tight game here, or maybe it won't for one side or the other.
I'm gonna say that this is gonna be the tightest game that we see this week. I think these are two great teams, but I'm gonna take the Bengals. And listen, the Bengals had a great season last season, and coming off of week one, very very shaky team. But I'm gonna have to blame it on the rain. I think the rain and how maybe coming back from an injury on Joe Burrow's side of the ball, I think just kind of it hurts the team. But I think this Bengals team can finally prove themselves this season and get their first win of the season. And I love this Ravens team. I'm just gonna let you know right now. I think they could possibly make a huge Super Bowl run. I mean, that's obviously we can't say that we can't be talking about it right now. We're gonna talk about it in future episodes, but watch on the lookout for the Ravens. But I'm taking the Bengals in this one.
I think that this game all rides on whether Joe Burrow will be 100%, whether his
Yeah, but
receiving
I just
staff
think
will be
it was the
100%.
rains. I think it was the rain also from last week, and obviously we can't blame everything on the rain, but the the Bengals didn't play great, and we seen
Well, you could say the
that
same
they
about the Browns with the rain. The
yeah, but
Browns clobbered them in the rain.
I know, but the Browns playing rain like 50% of the time. I feel like whenever we
Yeah.
turn on a Browns games, I feel like
Yeah.
it's always raining. So I think they're used to it. But I think the Bengals, they're a new team, and I think that they can finally get the first win of the season this season. I just think it's gonna happen in week 2.
I'm going to go out a limb here and say that I like the Ravens in this game. I'm not
Man,
saying I picked
ooh.
the Ravens. I'm saying I like the Ravens.
Oh, okay,
I'm
all right.
I'm not going to pick a team in this game because I think there's so many variables riding with both of them, and there's no idea. I have no idea what's going to happen here, but I'm going to say I like the Ravens.
Okay,
Let's just
all
go
right,
with that.
all right, yeah, all
So
right, all right.
moving on to Football Monday, there will be two featured games for Monday Night Football. 7:15 Carolina versus the Saints, and at 8:15 Steelers versus the Browns. So Carolina versus Saints, I'll just take this one. I think the Saints are going to win. The Saints played really, really well last week, and I think Bryce Young just needs a couple more weeks to get into his groove with Carolina.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna take the Saints on this one too. I just think it's gonna have to take some time to get used to. Hopefully, Hayden Hurst should feel some regret for throwing away his first Bryce Young's first touchdown into the stands, which I find a
Yeah,
little
that's a
crazy. I
little.
think
You, you
he
I don't know
definitely
if you
should.
saw this. Do you remember when Pete Alonso threw away the Cardinals guy first
Oh yes, I
thing
remember that.
all the way into the
Oh
stands?
man, and then
That's
the
it's the
fans. Oh
same
yeah, I
thing. It's
remember
the
that.
same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, so
but Saints
definitely.
definitely.
Yeah, but I'm taking the Saints, and it has nothing to do with obviously Hayden Hurst. Yeah, it has nothing to do with
Yeah,
that. I'm
no,
just
no,
taking
no,
the Saints.
nothing. Yeah.
I just think Derek Carr is a more experienced quarterback, so I'm just
Yep.
gonna take the Saints on this one.
So Steelers versus Browns. I think the Steelers are going to continue their role, or I mean, the Browns are going to continue their role. The Steelers they didn't do horribly last week, but they're playing against the best, but possibly the best defense in the league, as well as a fairly good offense. So I got the Browns in this game. I think that they are going to be a pretty good team this year, and I'd like to see what they continue to do.
Yeah, I'm taking the Browns in this one. And I like the Steelers team, but after seeing them in week 1 losing to the 49ers, it was a shaky win. I mean a shaky loss. And I just think the Browns are the better team after we saw what they did to the Bengals last week. And obviously I'm gonna blame the rain for the Bengals loss. But yeah, I think the Browns are the better team right now, so I'm gonna take the Browns.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree with that. So that is week 2 of the NFL. semi gone through by us, but if there's anything crazy that happens this week that we missed the preview on, we will obviously talk about it post game next week. So stay tuned for episode 7. But we are going to move back a bit to Saturday for college football Saturday. So Vince has his game of the week for this week, one that he will actually be attending in person. So Vince, what do you
Yeah,
think? What's your game?
I'm gonna take Tennessee versus Florida. And listen, in the Swamp on Saturday night, this game will be an SEC rivalry game, as we know, and a highly anticipated matchup. But many people across the country would obviously pick UT, but I'm sticking with my gut, and I'm picking the upset. Give me the Gators Saturday in the Swamp.
So I don't like Tennessee because I'm a Bama fan. Obviously, what happened last year was not too nice for me, but I hope Florida wins this game. I don't
And
know if they
I,
will, but I hope they do.
I
I'm gonna
gotta
say I hope they
I
do.
gotta say one thing though, and this has nothing to do with superstitions or anything, but I'm 0 and I mean, whoa, I'm 2-0 right now, going to attending Gator games right now, so I'm undefeated when attending games. So I think the Gators could probably possibly get this win, and it'd be huge with the sold out 90,000 fan crowd attending in the Swamp tomorrow night. So definitely anticipated, and I can't wait to go. It's gonna be a great game.
Yeah, have fun with that. So we're just going to do a quick talk about what's going on in the uh polls right now and what the rankings are at. So just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 real quick. So Georgia is staying at 1, Michigan staying at 2, Florida State moves up 1 to number 3, and Texas, the big move, jumps 7 spots up to number 4, obviously with the defeat of Alabama. USC jumps to number 5, up by 1. Ohio State drops to 6. Penn State, Washington stay the same. Notre Dame jumps up 1, and Alabama rests in spot number 10 after dropping 7. After dropping 7 ranks to number 10 after the loss to Texas. Anything you got to say about the top 10?
I'm gonna go. I know this is off script, but I think we're gonna go. I'm gonna go back a little bit, and I'm gonna go to the top 20. And I'm gonna say something. Do you think Colorado should be a top 10 team if they do beat Colorado State this week?
Um, if they beat Colorado State, I think that Colorado
Listen,
State,
I think
Colorado's, yeah,
I think they should be a top 15 team. I'm just gonna say my opinion. I
top
think it should be
15. I'll say
top
top
15 is
15.
great.
Top 10, we need a
Maybe
little more. We need a little more.
we need a win against Oregon, and maybe a win against Oregon, and I'm
I
obviously
think a win against Oregon would definitely
definitely
they
put them in
deserve
the
it.
top
Yeah,
10. Oh yeah,
because
for sure,
Oregon right now is 13.
It's 13. Yeah, so
So a win
definitely a
against
win would make it
Oregon, fine,
huge.
deal,
Yeah,
you get it.
yeah, you get them. And so I'm gonna go back again in the top 25 right here, and I'm gonna say something. I do see that we have Duke in front of the University of Miami right now. Now, obviously, the University of Miami hasn't been ranked in so many years.
Yeah.
But listen, I think they're the better program, and obviously, as we know, they won last night against Bethune Cookman, and they're 3-0 right now. I don't think this win should put them highly up in the ranks right now at the moment, but I think they're the better team than Duke. I understand that Duke beat Clemson, who is
Right.
a top 10 ranked team. But
well,
listen,
no, Clemson isn't even ranked anymore. So.
yeah, I know, but
Yeah.
at the time, Duke beat them ranked top 10 ranked. So
Right.
I just think that Clemson team wasn't the same Clemson team we've seen over years past. So that's why I think Duke won. I think they came to the game focused, like they came to the game ready and prepared. And they wanted to get that win. I think that has nothing to do with the performances. And right now, at the moment, I see the University of Miami as a better team. So if we don't have the PA polls changed by Monday or Tuesday, saying that the University of Miami better than Duke, then I don't really know what to say because I think they're the better team than Duke. That's why I'm going back. I'm not being biased here. I just did taking my opinion.
Yeah. So that is our quick college football recap / preview for this week. And of course, like I said about the NFL, we will tell you more about what ended up ultimately happening in episode 7. Moving on to the NBA, last week we had some discussion about the FIBA World Cup. and how we are looking to see if the dream team will assemble once again for the 2024 Summer Olympics in France. And we have some big news about that literally right after we posted.
Yeah,
We
exactly. I
hear
think they
that
heard our podcast.
LeBron James and Curry plan on joining Team USA, and rumors about being interested in the team from Kevin Durant, Anthony Davis, Jason Tatum, Draymond Green, and Devin Booker. And that would be an absolutely insane team if that happens.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
I listen. I think if we assemble this team as a country, I think we should get the gold already. Obviously, we have to go fight for the gold. I think we have to go
yeah.
obviously compete. I mean, I'm
Beat
just
Germany
obviously
this time. Beat Germany
yeah,
this
no, we
time.
need to beat Germany, and we're not losing to Dennis Schroeder, who is the only player on that team. Anyway, I think now that we have the players, as I've said last episode, we need to get the right guys. We have the right guys. I know we do. The U.S., obviously, uh, they make generational talent. We see year after year the Dream Team, the Redeem Team. We see all these great Olympic teams, and I think this can be high up in the ranks of the best teams right now in Olympic history. So, do I think they can go win the gold? Obviously, we have NBA future Hall of Fame talent on this board right here. So, I think if these guys can go out and win us the gold, I think we can definitely see a huge victory for our country, and we just got to wait for next
Mhm.
year in France.
And we'll see who ends up actually committing to this team, as none of these
Yeah, we'll definitely report that
are
by then.
official yet, and we'll keep you updated on this. But maybe the dream team will be assembled again.
I don't know.
So that's our NBA news for this week, and the NBA season will be starting soon. So we'll have a lot more coming. And moving on to the MLB, there's been some interesting Mike Trout trade talks that are being kind of tossed around. So
Rumored, yeah.
yeah, definitely rumored. So Mike Trout said that the Angels organization, or not Mike Trout. So Mike Trout, first of all, has denied trade rumors at the moment. So, and there's been some weird things like the Yankees and the Phillies being involved, and the Angels approving trade talks and stuff like that. So, and this is huge because Mike Trout is going to be a future Hall of Famer, and there's a lot of teams that could definitely use him, and especially with the Angels potentially losing Shohei Ohtani this offseason to free agency. Is trading Mike Trout the right idea if this is even a possibility of happening?
I don't think it's the right idea for the Angels. Now, listen, you could definitely get generational talent out of him. Obviously, prospects down in the minors, but you got to think a little bit. And we see what this is an example. I know it's a completely different sport, but we see what Tom Brady did. He left the Patriots, and you see what happens to the Patriots now. They're nowhere in the top three of their division anymore in the AFC East. So, do I think this can happen again with the Angels? Yes, I think this is a great example. And I think if the Angels trade away their best asset that they have over the last 10 years, 12, 11 years,
Well,
I think
besides Shohei Ohtani.
well, okay. But listen,
Yeah.
they're losing such a sentimental piece of their organization. It could definitely hurt them from the long run. Obviously, he's old, but I think we just have to look at it from a perspective of he has been with your organization for so long that it's hard to get rid of him.
Yeah.
But, you know, as I said in my example of Tom Brady leaving the Patriots, do you think like a downfall would happen from the Angels? And obviously, I'm listen. I'm not saying they're good right now. They're not. I'm gonna say the truth. But you think they're gonna be even worse if they trade away this huge asset?
Oh, 100%.
I mean,
The
what do you know? Wait, what place are they right now in the AL West?
the
Are they
the
last?
Angels, I don't think they're last.
Well, listen,
The
whatever they
Angels are
are.
second. Yeah, the Athletics are last. The Angels are second to last,
Oh,
currently with
all
a
right. Well, listen,
68 and
listen.
79
Hold on.
record.
If the Angels weren't in that division,
They'd be
I mean, if the
yeah.
Athletics weren't in that division, the Angels would definitely be last. All right, let's just be honest. So
Yep.
yeah, I definitely think this would hurt this team a lot, and so I think we have to come up with a way, maybe to see what Mike Trout wants to do. And obviously, he's denied all the trade rumors at the moment, but not only will it affect the Angels part of the side, but how would it affect the Yankees and the Phillies? Now, these are two teams that have been rumored, obviously this past week. And so I'm gonna go for the Yankees first. I think if the Yankees get the great player Mike Trout, I think it definitely
But
help them. But
but
do
here's
they
the issue.
need? Yeah, but listen, do they need that? Do they need that
Well,
outfielder?
okay, so
I mean, they have Trout. I mean, they have Judge. They have Jason Dominguez. They have Stanton. Do they really need him?
So, and I want to talk about Jason Dominguez because to get Trout, they're gonna want Jason Dominguez.
Oh
So,
wow, yeah. Okay.
so
Well, no, then I'm definitely not. Then if I'm the GM of the Yankees, I'm definitely not making that trade. I
yeah,
think Joe
no,
Mason. Listen,
I think we
I
need
just
to
think
stay with
Trout's
our
a little too
prospects.
old. Yeah, exactly. And I think we said last episode how good he is in the fast fact, and I think like just seeing based off of what he's done over the course of the last couple of weeks, he's been called up to the majors. He's done great things for this team already, and I think trading him
And
for a veteran is not the right move right now.
and for Jason Dominguez,
and that's the
yes.
same thing. And that's the same thing with the Tyler Hero, Damian Lillard situation. And I know I'm bringing in a lot of sports for examples, but this is really just how it is. Like in every sport, it's like trading away like a young player
Invest in
like
your
Tyler
future.
Hero. Invest in your future. Listen, I love Damian Lillard, and I'm not trying to bring in the NBA here, but we got to keep the young guys where they should be. All right, listen.
Mm-hmm.
I think Mike Trout leaving the Angels would be a huge mistake, not only for the Angels part, but if we do trade him for Jason Dominguez, that would definitely hurt that both teams for sure.
And Jason Dominguez, unfortunately, is going to be out for the next couple months after having Tommy John surgery for a UCL injury. So we'll have to see how he comes back from that. But even after he comes back, he's still Jason Dominguez. He is the future Yankees center fielder.
Yeah, he's the future of this
There's
team.
absolutely no way. I'm a huge Yankees fan. I don't want. I mean, I would love Mike Trout.
Yeah,
But
but I don't think
for what they want for it, no.
No, we don't want Jason Dominguez to leave. Also, and before we end the episode, I'm gonna say something about the Phillies. I think the Phillies could definitely use Mike Trout, but will it result in trading away, for example, Trey Turner, Bryce
JT
Harper,
Realmuto.
JT Realmuto, for example? I don't think that's the right move. I don't like. I know these are the teams that have been rumored, and they have the enough money to get them. They have the enough prospects and players to get them. But is it worth trading away for a veteran? No, it's not. So
No, definitely not.
I think the Angels should just really just quiet down all the rumors at the moment, and in weeks going forward, I think we should definitely again discuss about this topic because it's a great topic to talk about. But yeah, again, the Angels should not be trading Mike Trout because he's a huge piece of this franchise and it would definitely hurt him for the long run.
Yeah, so that's the MLB, but we'll continue with the MLB for our fast fact. The Atlanta Braves, conveniently at the Philadelphia Phillies, have won the NL East for the 6th year in a row. And a couple years ago, they won the World Series after winning the NL East, and they've just beat out the Mets every year. So,
yeah, and the Marlins are right there for are they close to second place? I think so. So, and listen, I think the Phillies are the better team right now in the NL East, but I just think we have to see. Obviously, the Braves win the NL East, but I think this division is so tight that we could definitely see a battle against the Phillies and in the Marlins for second place in this division. So I think we just have to see again and how this playoff picture will pan out. And obviously in weeks prior we'll discuss about it. So we're definitely excited and can't wait for this postseason start.
And the Braves are a fast, young, powerful team.
They're winning the World Series.
Yeah, led by Ronald
I said it
Acuna
episode
Jr.
1. I said it episode 4 or 5. I'm gonna say it again. They're winning the World Series.
Yep. And Ronald Acuna Jr. going for MVP here. So this has been
or Matt Olson or Matt Olson.
Or Matt Olson or Matt Olson.
Yeah.
But yeah. But this has been episode 6 of the Sports Coverage Podcast. My name is Andrew, and I'm alongside my co-host Vince. Follow us on Instagram, which is all over the screen right now. Subscribe to the YouTube, and we also have audio only on Spotify. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and we'll see you next week.